What is up, guys? My name's Simian. My name is Yen. I play The Sims. Did you see what I did there? Alright, guys, there is a lot that needs to be talked about after this recent live stream. And look, I know a lot of people are going to be like on the fence about some of my opinions, but of course, I'm going to state that towards the end. I'm going to do a quick recap of the whole live stream for those who were unable to watch it or just wanted just a faster recap of just want a faster recap and just to refresh your memory. So they first took to saying that, there's a base game update and started off with a trailer and behind the infants. Morgan and Simguru Grimm also had announced more base game updates, such as the infants and the new objects that we'll be getting. Now, I do want to get into the fact that we will be getting new items such as bookshelves, baskinets, different swatches for toys, baby proof and infant and toddler kind of like cribs and playpens, and they can also do the crib travel where you can actually put like the playpen inside the inventory and be able to take it places. So I thought that was an awesome thing here and there to just add into the base game update. But I'm going to get into my opinions towards the end because, guys, there's just some things that just didn't sit right with me, and you guys will let me know how you guys feel about that as well. Of course, you guys can always go, it'll be on timestamp, so if you guys want to just fast forward to that, be my guest. But I do want to quickly go over a little bit more items that they did talk about. They did say that there was going to be like more smooth transitions and interactions when it came down to infants and toddlers, and the infants can actually react to weather, and you can show off your toddlers to new siblings to get them to actually know each other. Toddlers can now retain memory, and also newborn to toddlers can have an extension as far as being able to talk more amongst themselves. And I did really like this feature that they also ended up adding different playpens as well as baby proofing things as well. I thought that was awesome and a great way to show different ways that the playpen could be used for. Now, I did find it interesting that they also ended up adding science baby, which can also be another term of surrogate for same-sex couples, platonics, or just in general if you have anything along that gameplay. Now, they did say that there was only 3 skin tones for newborns, and that upon the update there will actually be a variety of different skin tones for newborns, because as we know, newborns have not been that great when it comes down to genetics. And we see the baby and it's like, what happened? What is this? So they did say that they fixed the newborn skin tones and that there will be just as many as there are for the adults, so we should be able to be seeing that amongst the new update that's coming soon. Now, as far as traits for infants, we did get a couple of traits such as intense, wiggly, sunny, cautious, sensitive, and I think that is a great way to just add more family dynamic when it comes down to create a sim and just being able to interact with toddlers as well. I did want to get into the fact that the create a sim for toddlers just didn't hit the mark for me, but of course I'm going to express more of my opinions towards the end, but let's hop into that really quick. Now, as far as the infant create a sim, I do feel like it was very extremely limited and that the outfits looked pretty basic, but as you guys can see, these are some of the items that they did have, and they were also limited on hairs, but I did like the fact that we could also add the tooth, the 2 front teeth and all of that. Now, we did have social compatibility when it comes down to infants as well, and I think that's a dope way to just go ahead along with gameplay. We have skin details, birthmarks, C-section, cellulite marks. They even did add an option for feminine and masculine to be able to produce breast milk. Now, I do want to go ahead and get into the fact that they did say that infants will be cross-compatible with other packs, such as cats and dogs, with dogs and cats can actually play with the infants and interact, as well as parenthood can develop more new skills. And nifty knitting, you can also knit new onesies and things like that for your new infants. And you can also sing a lullaby, depending on the crib. You can also soothe them, sing to them, kiss them on the foreheads, and they also have a hard time trusting other sims. Now, there's also first food options, which come with a variety of different foods that they can actually try, and they can actually test the temperatures of the water when it comes down to. Now, of course, there's a lot more detail that did take place, so if you guys haven't seen the live stream, I'll actually link it down below for those who want to watch the full thing in entirety, and I actually encourage those who haven't watched it to watch the full thing as well. That way you can have your own opinion. Even though I'm doing a recap and giving my thoughts and opinions, it's best for you to make your own judgment. Of course, you can with my video, but as usual, I will link it down below just for those who want to watch it. Now, although just a little mini recap of the whole thing, although I am glad about the infant and baby updates, I do have my opinions and things that just didn't sit right with me, and of course, I'm going to get towards that in the end. Now we are going to get into the growing together part of the live stream, where they actually did a lot of playing and going through everything and what exactly we could be expecting for the new expansion pack to come. Now, I have my mixed emotions, and I'm going to get into that in just a second, but there was a lot of things that they did add into the Create a Sim, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So first thing they did was add more infant clothing, hairs, etc., and toddlers actually had no new clothes, which I found very, very interesting, and that children didn't have much either. I did feel like the Create a Sim was lacking, and I personally did not like any of the clothes. I felt like it was very repetitive. I felt like we already had all of this. I will say I am glad that they collaborated with a black hairstylist named Lacey Redway for a lot of these hairs as well. I did find it interesting that they did say that for what the vibe that they were going for was vintage aesthetic and for city style, and that's honestly not what I was getting from this pack. Now, when you think San Francisco, you don't exactly think these specific clothing items, so it was very strange to me as to why they went totally left field. And he kept talking about majority of the time about the gameplay when it came down to, you know, growing together. And I was more so like, let's talk about these Create a Sim items, because one, it was very limited, and two, it had not much to begin with in general. Now, they did add certain things like likes and dislikes and sim characteristics and, you know, sim compatibility, which we will get into more, as well as family dynamics. So I just feel like they kind of missed the mark with Create a Sim, but we'll get into that a little bit later. They actually did introduce the map, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, the map looked very, very, very disappointing. I was expecting a little bit more, but of course I will get into my opinion towards the end. I also want to get into the fact that we do not have family dynamics, and that any two members of the family can have family dynamics within each other. There's also, you know, atomic relationships that they can have. They can have different interactions and playful buffs, dynamic when Sims live in different households, and even calls. So let's say their Sim was like maybe distant towards their parent and they moved out, they won't get frequent calls from them if their interactions are distant. Now, I did find that awesome, and I did love the new pie menu that they had. I love the fact that we got new soul music, and that there's 4 new aspirations. We have Playtime Captain, Creative Genius, Mind and Body, and Slumber Party Animal, and these were also given to children. Now, they do go into more detail when it comes down to compatibility, as well as being able to have more elder interactions, and elders can actually reminisce on older days, and that actually goes hand in hand with parenthood that they mentioned. So they say that people will be able to call asking to sleep over. So I feel like that's going to get a little bit of annoying, because we already get random calls about the journey to Batu, and if you have that pack, you already know how irritating it is for someone to ask you to come over, but they end up mentioning that even more, that this is going to be happening. So I hope there's a way to actually turn that off. And then they do go on to say that the suitcase is actually functional, and that you can like change your outfits, plan outfits, and it basically works the same as a dresser. I do love that the fact that the new calendar also adds sleepover options that we can be able to look over as well, and whoever is staying over can be asked to help out. Now, there's a lot more that I do want to get into really quick, and that is actually stating about the aggressive charmer, quirks, and discovering. Now, these are all added to toddlers and infants. So we have 18 toddlers and 18 infant quirks that they can discover, and possibly depending on interactions that happen. We also were included with milestones, and we also have a midlife crisis, which I think is really going to be that's going to be such a great add to the gameplay, and as well as tree houses where the Sims can actually woohoo. You can also decorate. You can, you know, upgrade the tree house. You can have a slide, lights. You can even like, it just all depends on basically your handiness skill. They also go on to say that we actually now have a keepsake box, which goes into your inventory. You can put it in your inventory, or do either or, like leave it in the house. Maybe you can even have it in a bedroom, but basically you can add different things such as like birth certificates, you know, taller drawings, friendship bracelets, and just overall just like little cute little things that I guess maybe your Sim has made, and then like your Sim can just put it in a box and be like, oh my gosh, look what my little infant did. Just little things like that. I also saw that we are able to do family reunions, which is going to be a game changer when it comes down to gameplay, and you can have a guest list, you can do photos. It's going to be amazing. And then they do go on to say about the new world. They didn't dive too much into the world, which was very interesting, but I think they didn't dive too much into it because there wasn't a lot to begin with, but I'll get into that in my opinions and very shortly. They do mention that we have a new venue such as the rec center, where this is basically what the sim guru was trying to explain, was that the central place to do everything. So obviously there's puzzles, games, there's stuff for infants and toddlers and elders, and basically for everyone to just get together. Now, I do feel like we already had this, and of course I'm going to get into my stuff in a little bit, but I just can't help but think that a lot of this was very it was very repetitive, and I'll get to that very, very shortly. And there's also self-discovery moments, and that can also end up adding more traits. Now, I definitely think that is something that is going to be amazing when it comes down to gameplay. And there's just a lot overall that added into the this expansion pack, as well as the update and the infants. Now, I am going to actually get into my thoughts and opinions, and before I do that, I do want to put a disclaimer out there that these are my thoughts and opinions. Just because you don't agree with me, that is completely fine. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you or anything. These are my thoughts and opinions. And if you guys disagree with me, I would love for you guys to state why, and that we can all have a respectful conversation in the comments. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to say is I do feel like it was giving game pack energy. I don't feel like this was an expansion pack personally. I think the create a sim and build and buy just wasn't hitting the mark. I feel like they didn't even bother to mention how many create a sim items were lacking, because there was just already so many things going on with family dynamics and compatibility. I felt like they also didn't include a lot of things that could have gone on and came with the expansion pack. Now, if there was more, they should have said that, but it just didn't look like, from based off the live stream, that there was not much to see in create a sim as well as build and buy. You could tell that there was just a few objects here and there that they were showcasing, but most of it had to do with basically an update on how the sims interacted with each other. I think this pack very much catered towards, sims interactions more than it did create a sim and build and buy, which why I personally feel like this should not have been an expansion pack. It was giving game pack energy, especially if you saw the map. The map was not it at all. They kept telling us, wait till the live stream, wait till the live stream, wait till the live stream, and I just didn't get the energy of excitement that they had. Now, of course, I came with no expectations, but I feel like they put pressure on themselves, telling us just wait till you guys see the live stream, just wait, and I feel like we saw gameplay, but not in a way of the expansion pack, but more so in a way with the way the sims interacted with each other. And I do feel like if that's what this pack was all about, this whole thing could have just been a base game update. Let me know down below in the comments your opinions on that. And I do want to get into the fact that the map doesn't give city. I'm looking at the map, I'm watching it, I'm trying to see what everyone else was seeing, and I did not get city vibes. My fiance is actually from the Bay, Oakland and San Francisco, and this was not, I even had him look at it and tell me his thoughts and opinions on it. And guys, I don't know, this wasn't it. If you're from the Bay, go ahead and comment down below and let me know, did this actually represent the city life that you guys, grew up in? And I'm very curious to it, because even an outsider who isn't from the city of San Francisco or the Bay Area, I did not see what, I didn't see the vision. The vision didn't clear out to me. I was disappointed to see the movie theaters were a wormhole, but I'm also not surprised. But I do like the interactions of being able to pay for movies, so I thought that was really dope when it came down to gameplay. But as far as not having functional boats, the houses being very separated from each other, there was absolutely no hills. I just didn't see San Francisco. I said what I said. Y'all let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about that. I also want to get into the fact that every time they describe what was in the pack, I just thought it should have been base game. You can tell that the main focus was basic. It was UI based, and it was definitely one of those packs that's like a must to be in order to really change your experience and have basics with better gameplay with your sims. But I do feel like, again, it was just an interactional based pack, and therefore I feel like it should have just either been a base game update along with the game pack, or because I feel like a lot of this that was left for this expansion pack should not have been in the expansion pack to begin with. A lot of this should have been base game. But again, you guys can comment down below what your opinions are. I was disappointed that we didn't get any new daycare careers, especially because it was infant based, and I was a little disappointed in that whole situation within itself. And I do want to get into the fact that the anchor port and even the new neighborhoods, I was very curious as to see the fact that we did get food stands, but it was with the same foods. Where is the expansion pack in that? And I do like the fact that you can have like a day-night area, and all that stuff. But it just, like I said, guys, it just wasn't, it wasn't hitting the mark on what I actually thought about this pack and what I thought was expected. As much pressure as they put on themselves, like I said, the sim gurus do it to themselves. Wait till the live stream, wait till the live stream, wait till the live stream. the hype behind this wouldn't have been as big as it was if the gameplay trailer represented that to begin with, and it didn't. The gameplay trailer represented interactions, and all this did was basically show more of the interactions. Now, again, those interactions do, equivalent to gameplay, and so our gameplay will definitely be changed for the better. I'm not saying that this is a bad expansion pack in general. I'm just saying that this could have been a game pack along with updates. I don't feel like, as far as it being an expansion pack and us paying so much money out of pocket, like 50, 60 plus dollars USD, depending on where you live, I just don't see the fact that we're not paying for a whole new game. I feel like a lot of these things that they mentioned inside the live stream were necessities and not necessarily add-ons. When you think packs, you think, oh, it's just an add-on to what we already have. But a lot of these was giving me, oh, we need that. Like, we need this in order for the game to actually work as a simulation game. So you guys go ahead and let me know your opinions on that. I am going to quickly state that I know some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, you're just being negative, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I want to mention, I love the family dynamics. I think it's dope. I love the new milestones. I love the new base game skin details where we have like birthmarks, C-section, cellulite. I love that. I love the fact that we can test the waters with the infants. I'm not saying all that. I'm not saying it's a bad pack, guys. I don't want you guys, I don't want it to come across that way. I'm saying I feel like it should have been a game pack, and that's my true honest opinion. I don't feel like what we got was expansion pack worthy. I think even though we saw 12 lots, it was 12 basic ass lots. Like, the lots there wasn't much to do besides a rec center. If you're gonna do 12 lots, make the lots surrounding the world more enjoyable. Why not have the boats work? Why show pictures of boats and have not the boats work? Why show pictures of driveways and cars on driveways if we don't have any interaction with cars? Now, I know I'm nitpicking, but those are just little things that kind of irritated me throughout the live stream and that they didn't want to cover. Like I said, a lot of things that they were covering was very solely based on Sims interactions, but not necessarily like, the things that we could have gotten in expansion pack. I don't know. Even looking at some of these items from Growing Together, a lot of this is giving me very antique. Now, when she said that, vintage was for Create a Sim, I'm actually getting that towards build and buy. I was looking at a lot of the build and buy modes and nothing was hitting for me. It's looked very repetitive. A lot of the stuff looked recolored, if you ask me. But again, it's very new. I will wait until some EA Game Changers maybe, play the game and we get to see fully of what the build and buy overview looked like, because in this live stream they actually didn't. And of course they said that they didn't have a lot of time to be able to cover a lot of things. So it's like, how much time do y'all need? I just think there is a lot of UI in this and there isn't really much gameplay. And I know I sound repetitive, but I really just want to make sure y'all understand me on this. And I just feel like I said, the movies, I don't know, it just wasn't, I feel like they could have done more. I felt like a lot of this could have been even into Parenthood refresh. I actually seen a couple people say that on Twitter, saying that, this should have been a Parenthood refresh. And I'm just really upset overall that it wasn't the expansion pack that I was hoping for. Like I said, this looks like one big update, and then they just put it all to an expansion pack, and I'm really disappointed about this. And I also feel like they didn't get into more about like teens. They didn't talk about the teens and the milestones for them, and I'm very interested in the dynamics between what could have actually happened. They did mention that that they couldn't go over a certain amount of time, but I felt like, guys, this is what the live stream was. You made us wait all that time for the gameplay trailer. There was no gameplay. You made us wait all that time for the live stream, and then the live stream didn't cover a lot of the questions I did have. Now, though it had a lot of stuff involving, interactions between Sims and basically changing the pie menu, the UI, all that stuff, there just wasn't an expansion pack worthy of information. That it could have been like, oh, a UI overhaul of things that we're gonna get for Sims interactions. But when it came down to like expansion pack, that wasn't an expansion pack. It wasn't. It just really wasn't. There wasn't any apartments, and I'm so mad about that. And I was really hoping for at least townhomes, but there wasn't any of that. And that's just so interesting, considering that they're basing this off San Francisco, which is a city that's very overpopulated. So a lot of things in San Francisco have like multi-rooms. There's like duplexes. Why wasn't that a thing? I don't know. Yeah, let me know down below in the comments what your opinions on this. And I was really hoping. I don't know what, made me think like, oh my gosh, maybe we're gonna get burglars. They didn't even put burglars in the game. I know that's like totally off topic, but I was really hoping. I was keeping my eye and options open. But overall, I do think the pack looks interesting. Like I said, I do think this pack is gonna be a necessity. I think if you really want to see gameplay change within your game, this is going to be one of those packs, along with like city living, seasons. Those kind of packs are going to be like, oh, we need this in order for things to work out. There are some things on the live stream that I can jump for joy about, and there's others that I'm like, this should have been an update, this could have been base game, this could have been Sims Delivery Express, and this could have been refreshes on other packs. I said what I said, and again, like, I felt like, I don't know, y'all let me know down below in the comments, because of course I know I'm sounding like very picky and oh my gosh, she's just bitter, but I'm just like, this is people spending their hard-earned money on this. I'm trying to make it add up and make it make sense, and it doesn't to me. But y'all let me know down below in the comments your opinions on everything, and of course I'll be trying to respond to everyone as much as possible. But again, like I said, if you guys disagree with me, that's completely fine. Please let me know down below in the comments why, and whether you're excited or not that excited about this expansion pack. I am doing a 2-pack giveaway that will be announced on March 13th, and all you have to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel as well as following me on my Twitter. That is all you have to be doing, and I will actually be announcing everything on both platforms. Anyway, guys, you guys have heard my opinions. Now it's time for me to hear yours. And go ahead and comment down below your opinions on everything that I have talked about so far, and just in general of the live stream, and what you guys are thinking. And do you guys think this expansion pack is worth it? Let me know down below in the comments. We are on the road to 20K. I love the community we have built here on this channel, because as long as we can keep it respectful in the comments, we be having conversations, and I love that. Regardless of whether I disagree with you or agree, or regardless of whether you guys both be disagreeing and agreeing down below in the comments, I love the fact that we can all keep it respectful and have an adult conversation about this. But anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and I appreciate all the love and support you guys have given me. And of course, I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.